Alrighty, so News of the Week episode on this Friday night, and I know it's very rare that I do a News of the Week episode on a Friday, but because there's no MLS game and it is the international break, I pretty much can afford to do a News of the Week episode anytime this week. But yeah, today we're gonna definitely talk a couple more things in terms of what we saw yesterday, which was a very historic thing that happened in the league yesterday, which they announced that they have officially changed the calendar format, and that we're now going into pretty much a late summer into spring season. I mean, I know some people say it's like a fall to spring season, but it's more like late summer with the way that we're starting in July. I mean, I say late summer, you might as well just kind of say it's a summer to spring season because, July is not really late summer, that is. But as I'll talk about in my video in terms of going through what they were voting for and all the detail about this new format change. One thing I did talk about is the MLS Apple TV streaming thing, and we talked about how MLS Season Pass is no longer going to be a thing after this postseason. It's going to be part of Apple TV. Well, there's now more news that is related to that, and that is that the streaming deal that originally was going to take at the end of the 2033 season, if I recall. Well, now it's going to be short. It's going to be ending in 2029 instead. But despite the fact that I know what you're thinking, that this might not be a great thing for the league, there is some good news. The fact that Apple TV will increase the annual TV revenue that the league, of course, will receive. I think it's like a $50 million increase in each year as well, and also Apple TV will get I think or Apple TV will pay the league $125 million during that transitional period in the 2027 season, where we kind of have like a little mini season leading up to the format change as well. But they do also have an opt-out option as well. They can opt out of this deal in 2027. So basically, what I'm seeing this is the fact that Apple TV and MLS, they want to kind of not only continue to form a good partnership between each other. Maybe they're basically betting themselves the fact that this product will do well, because I think if the product does do well, I wouldn't be surprised we might see a talk about the contract being renewed as soon as 2027 as well. Now, if it doesn't do so well, and if the ratings isn't going to be good, there is an opt out option in 2027. Though I doubt that it's going to be option, considering that I do think that with the way that I mentioned, with MLS decided to put all their games on Apple TV right now instead of another paywall, that's going to really help in terms of opening up a new audience to this, especially for people that have already subscribed to Apple TV as well. You no longer have to worry about only a selected group that is able to watch games, because they have to pay this certain paywall alongside with another paywall that I'm pretty sure people are paying for Apple TV to watch movies and also other sports. So yeah, I think this could be good for the league itself. And if it doesn't really quite work out, there is the talk that maybe MLS might be exploring other streaming service, and maybe we might also see a little return to the linear TV deal as well. I do really hope that eventually they might go back to that a bit, because again, I can definitely see that there are people that don't really like the fact that MLS decided to put all their games behind Apple TV. But Apple TV has really invested heavily when it comes to the sports streaming world. They recently just got F1. We've seen them do MLB as well every Friday night, and they're really tapping into this. And for the most part, I also would say that when it comes to the broadcast and also the quality it is, I think Apple TV probably have the best compared to other sports. Yes, I know Apple TV has at times have had some issue before with audios, and also some games where they have Fox Sports moment where they cut away the action way too much, but it's not as egregious as I've seen in other sports with their own streaming device. An example of that is NHL, where I heard a lot of fans complain about NHL being on ESPN Plus. The quality is not very good, and also the audio isn't very good as well in that. Now, Don Gabbard. So after he, of course, mentioned in terms of this new calendar format change, he also mentioned the fact that there is not only going to be a new regular season and postseason format heading into that 2027 change of format, but there's going to be new roster rules and also some player spending strategy as well. Now this is huge because as we talked about for the past couple of years, the league definitely are going to loosen a little bit when it comes to roster rule. This has been pretty much a talk that we've been having really ever since I started this channel covering MLS. Every single year we always talk about how the league need to change the roster rule, and especially maybe even open up the DP spot and allow teams to spend more than we do. Now, for those people who are wondering, this means that they're going to eliminate the salary cap? I don't think so. I don't think the league is going to eliminate the salary cap. I think the league is trying their best in terms of finding the right balance in terms of letting some of these more ambitious teams to have more spending option while basically also making sure that it's not like the MLB of what we're seeing right now where there's no salary cap. It's a free for all in terms of it, and teams will just spend just so much amount of money to basically buy a championship. Because at the end of the day, there's got to be a parity in terms of that. And again, that's going to be very interesting to see how this new roster rule would look like. It will definitely help teams that is competing in multiple competition because I think one of the biggest criticism right now with the roster rule and also the spending strategy because of how strict the roster rule is still in MLS. We've seen teams that are still not being able to participate in multiple tournament without just getting absolutely burnt out, or in the cases we saw with the LA Galaxy last season when they had to pay a heavy cup tax because of the amount of players that they had to let go to comply with the roster rule. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the league are trying to avoid that to happen again. And I know some might say that some of them were kind of self-inflicted by the Galaxy itself, but I can understand why Galaxy fans and also the ownership group is not happy in terms of how they had to shed a lot of talent just because they want to comply with the roster rule heading into next season. Now, moving on. So Wilfried Nancy is on verge to become the new manager for Celtic as well. It could be announced as soon as the end of this weekend, and this is not a big surprise. We knew that Wilfried Nancy, his time in MLS is going to come to an end. He's going to be going back to Europe, and there's going to be a lot of big European team that is looking to try to get his service. Now, Celtic is definitely not a team I thought he was going to go. I always thought that he was probably going to be going back to league, and maybe manage a team back in his native country. But yeah, he decided that he's gonna go to the Scottish Premiership, and especially Celtic desperately need a new voice there to get themselves through what has kind of been a very turbulent season for Celtic. Celtic has not done well this season in the Scottish Premiership, but yeah, as sad as this, of course, it's not only a big loss for the Columbus Crew, but it's a big loss for the league itself. Wilfried Nancy is definitely considered the best head coach for the past couple of years, and this again will be a huge blow to see that happen. But also, I think this could be a thing that just shows you the fact that it's not just player development that could be that MLS can capitalize in terms of getting players to go to Europe. Manager can basically go to here, and head coaches can definitely have a chance to do well in this league where there's going to be some recognition in Europe the fact that hey we see some of these managers doing very well in MLS. Why don't we bring them in because they definitely found some talent in that league, and maybe that will work out in our league itself. So yeah, certainly congratulations to Wilfried Nancy in terms of getting a much bigger gig, but at the same time it is definitely a bit of a blow for the Columbus Crew, and we'll see how much that could change next season in terms of the projectile that they might had, and them looking for a new head coach this offseason as well. Now, the San Jose Earthquakes, they have announced that they have part ways with GM Chris Leach. Now, this is not a big surprise. I had a feeling this was going to happen with the way that, ever since Bruce Arena was hired and him being the technical sporting director and also the ones that only call the shot, not only call the head coaching gig in each game, but also call the shots in terms of the signing, you knew that there was going to be some conflict and interest between him and Chris Leach. And from what I heard, it seems like both of those guys didn't really quite see eye to eye with each other at times. And yeah, I think we kind of knew this was going to happen. It was either between Leach or Bruce Arena. And I'm not saying Leach has been incredible so far during his time with the Quakes. He's been okay during his tenure with the Quakes. Haven't really done too much, but again, part of that isn't really on him because of the way that the Quakes, because of the current ownership that they have, and also hoping with the new ownership that is going to come in as well. There's a lot of limitation that he can do. But with that being said, with Bruce Arena really just pretty much took control of the whole team, both on the signing and also in-game basis as well. You knew that Chris Leach was not going to last there any longer, and yeah, that's pretty much the announcement to that. And now there's no doubt that again, Bruce Arena, if he doesn't already have unlimited power in terms of making the decision of the players that is signed before, yeah, he's definitely got that unlimited power heading into next season. Now, the Portland Timbers, they also recently announced their end of season roster, and it's kind of an interesting one because they elected that they're going to be bringing back Diego Chara for his 16th season while letting go of Maxime Crepeau as well. Now, them bringing back Diego Chara is not a big surprise. I mean, Diego Chara, you talk about father time remains undefeated. Well, Diego Chara is definitely having a go at it and definitely say not so fast in terms of that statement because my goodness, I mean, the fact that he's just been an ageless wonder. And the fact that even in the year of 2025, even when he's on the pitch and he still can run like he's still in his 20s, that is something that is absolutely incredible. I would say him between him and Demarcus Beasley, two guys that are just considered to be an ageless wonder, and it feels like they age better as the year goes along and age like wine. I mean that it's not a big surprise the Timbers are going to be bringing back for his 16th season as well. He has been just rock solid. He's pretty much the standards when it comes to the position that he play. And once he does retire, there's no doubt that I'm going to do a career video about him. And there's no doubt that he's definitely going to be a Portland Timbers legend. Wouldn't be surprised he might even have a statue in front of Providence Park next to Diego Valeri as well. Now, when it comes to Maxime Crepeau, again, this is not a big surprise. The Timbers have been flipping left and right when it comes to the goalkeeping position. I mean, it's been a revolving door in that position. It's been Crepeau at time. It's been Pantemis. They feel more comfortable with Pantemis as the season goes along. So yeah, with Crepeau leaving, it will be interesting to see where he's going to go. I'm assuming there's going to be an MLS team that is looking for his service. Yes, I know Crepeau has had a rough season this year for the Portland Timbers, but he's still a decent goalkeeper. I mean, there's a reason why he's still considered to be the number one for the Canadian national team, even though now it seems like maybe that spot might go to Dane Sinclair. Consider Dane Sinclair has definitely had a much better season than Maxime Crepeau in that number one spot for the Canadian team. I mean, it also helps the fact that Dane Sinclair also won the goalkeeper of the year as well. So yeah, I have no doubt there's going to be some teams that's going to be looking for him, and I wouldn't be surprised that he might be signing with another MLS team in the near future. Now, another player that is getting let go, and this is a huge shocker. So, the San Jose Earthquakes decided that they're not going to re-sign Christian Espinoza to a new contract, and he is going to be heading to free agency. I mean, I'm kind of stunned when I saw this news, but at the same time, I'm not kind of stunned when I saw this news because again, the Quakes, one of the worst ownership in the league, and that as I mentioned many times, I'm really hoping John Fisher eventually sell the team like his promise and don't do what the Polats did with the Twins a couple of months back and decide to pull a fast one because it's pretty clear that this team needs new ownership. And I also feel like the Quakes are doing the same strategy as what the Minnesota Twins did in MLB, where they decided to sell all the asset before the new ownership group arrive, and then later on, you all know about the Twins ownership situation. The Polats basically decide to say, "Suck, how we're gonna keep this team." And again, I'm really hoping that is not going to be the case. But again, it just feels like the fact that with a new with John Fisher clearly trying to gut this team to its ground and making it hard for this new ownership group. I mean, I'm not surprised by that, but at the same time, it just kind of fuels the fire in terms of how much he is hated within this organization. I mean, just this is a huge blow for the Quakes heading next season. I mean, the fact that you're not even re-signing your best attacking player and a guy that has been a heart and soul of your team for the past couple of years. Again, this would feel absolutely ludicrous for a competent team, but as I said many times, the Quakes are not a competent team. They haven't been run well for over a decade now, and this is kind of a stuff that, as shocked as I am to see, I'm not surprised because I've seen this story many times before, and I also wouldn't be surprised he's going to be picked up immediately off of free agency. I mean, he is going to be a guy that's going to be at near the top of the list when it comes to free agency this off season. I mean, a lot of teams is going to look for his service, especially some good teams as well. And I wouldn't be surprised he might go in a good team. And in some way, I'm kind of happy for Christian Espinoza. I feel bad for him being stuck with the Quakes, and it's the same with Wando as well, where it feels like the Quakes absolutely wasted his career. Despite the fact that Wando tried his best to carry the team. It's the same with Espinoza. He's been really been wasted for the Quakes with the talent that he has and with that talent that he brings to the table. He can definitely join a competitive team and definitely could be a star player. And it's another example of the Quakes decide to let go of good talent for no reason whatsoever, just to save an extra buck, and it just blow up in their face. I'm pretty sure this wouldn't come back to haunt the team once Espinoza decided to join a really good team, or God forbid, he might even join LAFC as well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that that would be the case heading into this off season. Now, another big free agent player that is going to be heading into this offseason in free agency is Walker Zimmerman. So Nashville decided that they are not going to bring back their captain Walker Zimmerman. Now this was a difficult choice. I mean, Walker Zimmerman, as good as he has been for the past couple of years, and he is definitely a legend for Nashville as well. We'll not only remember as the guy that scored the first ever goal for Nashville SC history, but a guy that is just pretty much a leader by example for this Nashville team. You just kind of had a sense that maybe this season they're going to have to cut ties, especially with the DP spot that Zimmerman occupy, and the fact that he's been kind of a low injury prone this past couple of season and have kind of declined in terms of production, and the fact that Nashville doesn't seem like they skipped a beat even without Walker Zimmerman at the back there. You just kind of had a sense that they had to cut their ties, but still, it is kind of a bittersweet moment. And again, him going to free agency, he's still a quality defender. He is going to cost a little bit more, and that also goes the same with Espinoza. I think he's going to cost a lot for teams that is going to try to pick him up. But again, these are two names that are really good names off of free agency, and I wouldn't be surprised there might be a competitive team that is looking to get them, even if they're going to maybe overpay them a little bit in the near future. Now, Charlotte FC has announced that they have re-signed Brent Bronico to a contract extension. This is kind of an interesting one because I know Brent Bronico is very well loved in the Charlotte fan base. After all, I mean he is a hometown boy with Charlotte, but at the same time, his production, I mean, it's been okay. It hasn't been great, and that with them decide to sign a contract extension, I guess maybe he could be a guy that not only anchors the midfield for the next couple of years, but could be used as a veteran presence. But again, he's another guy that I think, because of the fact that Brent Bronico maybe doesn't occupy as much of the cap space compared to what we see with Walker Zimmerman, and especially with Bronico not occupying DP spot as well. Shard is okay in terms of re-sign him. Have Brent Bronico been a DP or occupy a lot of the cap space? No doubt Charlotte is not going to bring him back with the way that, again, he's been good this season, but no, I wouldn't say he's been amazing or close to fulfill the contract that he currently or he used to have if it was a huge amount of money before. Now, moving on in terms of the next news, and this gotta suck. So for NYCFC, we already talked about they're going to be a little bit up against it heading into that game against the Union because they're dealing with injuries and also with suspension as well heading into next game. Well, they just dealt with another big blow. Alonso Martinez, their top goal scorer, looks like he's done for the season. Is his report that he torn his ACL in Costa Rica World Cup qualifier, and I think this is another example of why I think with the new postseason format that is going to be happening in 2027, with it happening in a month, and it will not be distracted because of the international break. This will definitely kind of at least make the playoffs not much of a gimmick, and kind of kind of almost like a free roll at times, because again, this is the one of the most frustrating thing about this playoffs, and I wouldn't blame NYCFC fans being very angry about this and blaming this on the format, because this would never happen if we see a international break disrupt the playoffs. I mean, not only the international break had disrupted the playoff momentum that teams, of course, had, but now heading into this World Cup qualifying for a lot of these teams and doing this crucial international break, there's always that risk that when you send players to international break, they could come back injured or worse, done for the season. And yeah, this is exactly the case for NYCFC. And again, just a huge blow for this team. I think with all the injuries that they have, and now having their top goal scorer not being there, I mean, I just don't see them beating the Philadelphia Union. I might be wrong. They might put up a great fight, but with all the injuries that they suffer heading into the next game, I mean, there already was kind of a little bit up against it, but now losing your top goal scorer like that, I mean, Maxi Morales is gonna have to do a carry job and then some, and maybe have to turn back the clock to carry the attack. So yeah, just a huge blow for NYCFC, and even a bigger blow knowing that he might not be available for next season as well. We saw Ricky Puig, of course, last year torn his ACL as well, and he pretty much was out for the rest of the season. Now, the Seattle Sounders said that they will be playing all home games at Lumen Field. Now, for some, that might feel like it's just in other words, water it is wet. But the reason why I want to mention this is that the Sounders, they are planning to lay grass at Lumen Field for the World Cup, and with some of these World Cup venues, there were definitely talks of whether or not if these teams might be playing somewhere else because of it, but apparently, that won't be the case for the Seattle Sounders. They're gonna continue to play home game at Lumen Field, and it's also like they don't really have other option to do. I mean, I know some people say, well, why not play at Starfire? No, they are not playing at Starfire for an MLS game. I mean, that is way too small of a venue to play. And then after that, I mean, what other option do they have? There's no way in the world they're going to be playing in Portland as well. Imagine if Seattle have to choose to play in an alternate venue and they decided to use Providence Park as their home game. I mean, I know Vancouver did it during the COVID shortened season because of the restriction, but I can't imagine the Seattle Sounders will have to occupy Providence Park and play some home games like that. That would be just a huge slap in the face to not only the Seattle Sounders, but I'm pretty sure the Timbers fans are gonna have a field day about that as well. So besides that, there really isn't a lot of option. I mean, some might also say they might also play at the University of Washington. I know they also have a stadium as well, but again, I don't know if that stadium can fit the configuration relatively well as well. So again, they didn't really have too much option. They knew that they had to stay at Lumen Field, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Where they're not going to play in other places, even for the preparation for the World Cup. That Lumen Field is one of the venue that will be hosting this World Cup later next year. Now, the NWSL has announced that they are going to be expanding to Atlanta starting in the 2028 season, and Atlanta will become the 17th NWSL team. Not a big surprise by that. I mean, there's been a lot of talks of Atlanta getting an NWSL team, and especially with the soccer culture going on in Atlanta, there's no doubt that I think that there is going to be an expansion there, and I also wouldn't be surprised we might see some attendance record as well. Atlanta, they are definitely a standard, not only in terms of MLS, but in terms of the attendance record per set. And with the way that the team have announced that they will play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well, man, there's going to be a lot of games that's going to be happening at Mercedes-Benz Stadium between the Falcons, the Five Stripe Atlanta United, and also the NWSL team. There's going to be a lot of ground sharing that is going to happen. But nevertheless, as I said, this is not a big surprise in terms of the fact that we knew that NWSL was going to go there. It is also one of the biggest market in the country, and also the expansion fee. I think they pay like $175 million. That's pretty expensive for an NWSL expansion fee, but Hartford Banks clearly has the money to do so. So yeah, certainly think for Atlanta fans, and especially for a certain part of Atlanta fans, they are definitely going to be very excited to finally have a women's team heading into 2028. And then last but not least, so the National Soccer Hall of Fame has announced their class of 2026, and there are definitely some big names out there. Tobin Heath, Heather O'Reilly, Chris Wondolowski, Kevin Crowe, Tony Sina, and also Carrie Seitz are the six different individual that have been inducted into the 2026 National Soccer Hall of Fame. And when you look at these names, obviously the one name immediately jumped down to terms of this is the goal king himself, Chris Wondolowski. I'm not surprised Wando finally got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He absolutely deserve it, consider the landmark that he's set in terms of breaking the MLS goal scoring record, and a record that I don't think it might be broken for very long time as well. And also, this is another reminder to myself the fact that I still need to do the Wando career video. It's hard to believe I have not done a Wando career video. I might actually do it soon, especially now that he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then other notable names out there, Tobin Heath and Heather O'Reilly. These are two women's players that part of that juggernaut of the U.S. women's national team that have won multiple women's World Cup and multiple Olympic medalists as well. I mean, after last year when Carly Lloyd was inducted in the Hall of Fame, I was not surprised to see that there's going to be other players from that core team that is going to be there. Both of those guys are part of that core team that of course inducted into the Hall of Fame. I also wouldn't be surprised heading into next year we might see Alex Morgan inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. I'm kind of surprised Alex Morgan hasn't been inducted in the Hall of Fame as well. I was assuming if they were going to pick two women players from that national team for the women's side, I was going to assume it would be Carly Lloyd and Alex Morgan going together into the Hall of Fame, but I wouldn't be surprised Alex Morgan might be in there and alongside with Megan Rapinoe as well in the near future. But the other one I also kind of want to mention is the fact that we also had a referee that got into the Hall of Fame. Carrie Sitz, of course, got into got into the Hall of Fame, and I know there are always going to be some controversy surrounding referee going into the National Soccer Hall of Fame, but I think Carrie Sitz definitely deserve it. She is definitely one of the best referee in the world and a pioneer as well when it comes to women refereeing a lot of games during the Women's World Cup and also in the Olympics as well. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this news of the week episode. And if there's any news I didn't mention here on the board, let me know in the comments below as always. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.